The older millennial said that George Floyd would still be alive had he quote-unquote not resisted arrest. The older millennial was resisting arrest.
Oh, they got him! Oh,
Hey more people, how are y'all doing? Hopefully y'all are doing alright from wherever you are watching me from, and hopefully God has protected you and preserved you very well. Thank you to so very many of you that continuously support me on here, and I want to give a very special shout out to my members that continuously support me through the membership program. Y'all are amazing to me. Yes, as usual, we have a twist video to look at today. There's a gentleman that goes by the name of Older Millennial on TikTok. He's a right-wing content creator that has been arrested and tased for resisting arrest. And now people are excited about this, and you might wonder why are they excited, because apparently the internet does not forget. One day he came out and said that George Floyd could have been alive if he never resisted arrest. And he went ahead to really say a lot of controversial things about immigrants, and he's calling people criminals. And you know, like, when people got to know that he was arrested and he had a lot of, DUIs on him, and he was dodging, police, people are actually excited and they're reacting to this. So I want us to look at this. We'll come back and talk about it. And yeah, let me know what you think about this very incident. Don't forget to subscribe, share the video, and like it. And yeah.
Nah, this can't be the same man that sat here and said George Floyd shouldn't have resisted arrest is out here resisting arrest and getting his bungle tased. Ain't no way this the same man who loves to talk about people's criminal records when he can't do a up one on them on TikTok, out here getting warrants for his arrest and getting locked up not once but twice in the same year. I know this ain't the same dude. This ain't the same dude that likes to call black folks criminals. And you got more arrests than me in this year alone. And guess what? I ain't been arrested in 10 years for anything, not even a speeding ticket. Nothing. This ain't the same one, bro. I know that, like you said, George Floyd shouldn't have resisted arrest. And then you out here resisting arrest. You getting tased, bro. I ain't never been tased by no popo in my life. That is diabolical work.
He was arrested and tased? You mean to tell me a white content creator who loves to tell black people about the police and not resisting was arrested for resisting? Bro, I couldn't make this up. Elder Millennial. Bro, are you okay? What happened? Or are you out yet? I just want to know. Because I'm not laughing. Like, I'm not laughing. I'm just like, I'm questioning, because it's so weird. You love to talk about the police and how you have to have respect, but when they told you not to come back, you turned your back. You walked away. They had to tase you. Now, wow, why would you do that? You know what, I'm going to read more into the record, and because I'm willing to believe, you just didn't follow commands.
Do you understand how horrible of a person you have to be to have all of us collectively rooting for the police? That's really something, older millennial. You got it done. Congratulations. The best part about this is all of us are having fun at your expense, and there's not a thing you can do about it. By the way, have the day you deserve, and don't drop the soap.
Oh, I'm not tased. We've heard about it all day. Are you guys not obsessing over it?
No.
Hey, are you the same people that cried over a man getting put in handcuffs, one of your little senators?
Are you comparing a sitting U.S. senator being thrown to the ground in handcuffs for asking a question with a man who's got multiple DUIs and is violating his parole?
The mentality, I can't even. You do realize that this is a human being with feelings.
Older millennial, I have a question. Do you still believe that mentally disabled people should be thrown off a mountain?
Yeah, because they're liberals.
And a man that served this country.
His service is not a cloak that y'all get to use that indemnifies him from the ramifications of driving drunk and endangering lives.
He is a human being. When did we lose the ability to have any sort of compassion for anybody?
Sweet Cakes, he's not being sent to CCOT like the men he had no compassion for, although he does have more violations than most of them.
The older millennial said that George Floyd would still be alive had he quote-unquote not resisted arrest. The older millennial was resisting arrest and got tased. Who do we need to submit the FOIA request to? Because I need to get the body cam footage. We need to turn it into like an infinite loop or turn it into a GIF or something.
You probably know who the older millennial is by now, but if you don't, stay with me for just a minute. Imagine the very definition of a conservative, right? Imagine the top dog in the realm of right-wing influencers. Even though tradition obviously doesn't work anymore, but then again, what even is a democracy anymore, you know? But I will keep it real with you about posting content that's biased, okay? Just hear me out for 1 second. Because when you make biased content and when you contradict yourself, especially when you end up being arrested for the same exact thing, and then resisting, come on, Joe, I know you're better than that, man. Plus the fact that you should know that the other side is gonna be doing some digging into who you are in the background. But anyways, that's not the point. Here's the thing I really want to point out, okay? Whether you pick one side or the other, you can still become a target from the other side. The more that we don't come to realize that there are two sides of the same exact coin, the more we don't choose to strive forward in a way that we never have before. And the more that we continue to pick sides, the more we become divided, thus allowing ourselves to become deceived because we instantly believe what we're told. And see, the truth is there, but you have to seek it, okay? You have to form your own opinion, which is what creators like myself do for you, but yet we still remain with the sheep-like mentality, allowing ourselves even more to continue to lower our vibrations inside of an infrastructural society that has never, let's be honest, done anything for us to begin with. Wake up, people, and stop blaming the other side, because that's what you're expected to do.
So what's going to happen to the older millennial for his probation violations? So let's run through the violations that he's being accused of. First up, not starting your community service on time. Is this a big deal? Not really, no. In most cases, if they do not believe you can finish community service on time, they're just going to extend your probation by about 6 months. Don't get me wrong, that would suck, but that's not that big of a deal. Second off, we got failure to make a payment on time. Again, not really a big deal. There's really not a lot of judges who are going to throw you in jail because you don't have the money to pay it or you couldn't pay it at a certain time. It's really not that big of a deal. They'll more or less keep you on probation until you pay the fine. But now let's get into the big stuff. Is it a big deal that he did not tell his probation officer that he moved, change of address and all that? Oh yeah, that's a big deal. However, if it's down the street or it's in the same county or whatnot, they'll probably just waive that off. But if he moved to a completely different county, they're going to take that very seriously. And lastly, not reporting in person. That is a big deal. See, when I was on probation, people always told me it is a lot better to show up and fail a piss test than it is to not show up at all. Because see, if you fail a urine test, most likely what's going to happen is they're going to put you on this program where you have to call in every single day to see if you have to take a piss test. But not showing up at all, they could label you a flight risk, which could be very, very bad. And seeing as the older millennial didn't show up for his probation meetings and he was actively trying to dodge police, that doesn't look too good. However, depending on how good his attorney is, he might be able to make some sort of argument that he was waiting until his attorney got the paperwork and did this, that, and the third. So who knows? At the end of the day, a lot of his supporters are being like, I can't believe people would do this. They're not minding their own business. They're going too far into this. This is cyber stalking, blah, 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 blah. But, and this is a big but, he was actively breaking the law and being a social media content creator. And a lot of us social media content creators understand that eyes are on us all the time, especially our haters' eyes, looking for any reason to bury us. He really should have known better, regardless if he has a problem with alcohol or not. But I will say, depending on his probation officer and the judge on how hard they want to be on him, he could potentially be out in a few days and he's going to have his probation extended. Or depending on his judge and or probation officer, he could end up doing some time. Because regardless if you were just 1 week away from completing probation, that time that you signed off for you to do probation is still hanging above your head. So if it was 3 years probation or 285 days in jail, and you are only 1 week away from completing probation, that 285 days in jail still hangs above your head. However, I believe the officer who did tase the older millennial could potentially get in a lot of trouble for excessive force. Because even in the report, it was a non-violent resisting arrest. If he was legitimately just turning around, walking back into his house and that was it, and they tased him, that could be a problematic thing for the officer involved. Those are just my opinions based off my own experiences with being on probation.
You have some balls calling people criminals. Roll the clip.
Our laws say you cannot be in our country illegally, and the punishment for being in our country illegally is to be deported. You either believe that laws should be followed, or you don't. You're not a better person because you think a certain group of people should be able to ignore the law. This is such a childish argument to have. You either follow the rule of law and believe in the rule of law, or you don't. I'm always going to be on the side of people who do.
Meanwhile, you have an active warrant for violation of probation issued on June 8th, 2025. Now, I'm not a lawyer, and this isn't legal advice, but here you have two options. Stipulate to the facts of the violation or not stipulate to the facts of the violation. Either way, you have to go before an honorable court to quash this warrant. But given your past of failure to appear, failure to pay, contempt of court, violation of probation prior,
you're going to have an uphill battle. Court is actively looking for you. And the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office is also looking for you. And what are you going to do? You're going to move to Europe? Give me a break. Remember that criminal past I was telling you about? Criminal traffic, eviction, criminal traffic, civil traffic, civil action. And you have the nerve to call us criminals. Older millennial, you're a goddamn bully, and we're not going to stand for it.
The TikToker, the older millennial who is a right-wing creator, was just arrested yesterday for resisting arrest. People just now found out that he was arrested yesterday for violating his parole and then also resisting officers. Now, he's pretty big here on TikTok. I think this is like his third account that he's had. He's verified and everything, 500,000 followers. And one of his most recent videos was actually talking about how people should follow the law, and people have decided to turn that around and absolutely laugh at him. The crazier part is that apparently this is supposed to be the arrest report that this person posted right here, and they even said in the police report that he did not want to listen to the police officers, turned around, tried to walk away, and they tased him. Now, it looks like he was able to post bail for the resisting arrest. However, because he violated his parole, meaning he is a repeat offender, they have not bailed him out as of today. It's been a little over 24 hours now that he has been in jail. You can tell that also by going to his TikTok and seeing the last time he posted, because he posted pretty frequently. So we don't know if or when he will get out of jail.
Hopefully this means that we don't have to see your misinformation post every single fun day. Hopefully this means you stop sitting there saying, we're for law and order, don't break the law. Look, love, you have a whole mug shot now. Actually, you already had one, but now you have another one. Wow, Donald Duck is president, so you can't blame it on Biden. But one thing that really upsets me is the fact that we have the same first name. Q.
You see, this is the problem with all you Gen Z liberals out there. He was jaywalking. He clearly broke the law. It's not police brutality. He did not comply with commands, and he was attacked by 6 different police dogs. He shouldn't have been jaywalking. He's the one that committed a crime. Hold up, someone's at the door. This is the police.
Hey!
And what in the world? How's it going? Good to see you. We have here a warrant. An award? Warrant. Oh. Wait, a warrant for what? Probation violation. Me? Nuh-uh. No, that's not me. I didn't do anything. Well, it's got your name and address on it. Did you not see the thin blue line sticker on my car on the way in here? Or that has nothing to do with anything, actually. Okay, no, I'm not going with you. I didn't do anything. Are you failing to comply right now? Well, technically, yes, I am. Because taser. This is bullshit, all right? I bet you're all paid by Harry. Harry paid all of you to do this, didn't he?
Turn to your left, please. Thank you.
And you're probably shills for the Dems. That's why you do this, because I do nothing but make good videos about you.
Turn to your right. Thank you.
I do nothing but support you on the internet, and you gotta treat me like this?
Oh, they got him! Oh, he's been arrested!
So the DUI millennial who's been evading police, allegedly, for quite some time, finally got arrested. And allegedly, he was also resisting arrest. Why don't you just comply, Joe? Just comply. Just comply. For somebody who certainly likes to lick the boot and talk about other people's misgivings when it comes to law enforcement, he allegedly certainly didn't like cooperating with law enforcement or, following the law. And of course, there are going to be a bunch of like-minded individuals who are going to be twisting themselves into pretzels, trying to explain this away, why this is all, he didn't actually get arrested, or this is fake news, or whatever have you. No, this is real. And he's also been doing some, grifting. All those people who were putting $500 into his MCU, into his little fake, Middle Class United, yeah, a lot of them are probably never going to see that $500 again as well, which was over $3 million raised, grifted. It's awesome when these kind of things happen to the peoples they should be happening to, as opposed to the innocent people who just so happen to, get taken down by ICE because we have a toddler in that house that happens to be white.
So before I get to my main point here, something hilarious happened. After supposedly evading police, the drunken millennial was arrested. And apparently he was resisting arrest. Funny, why didn't you just comply, Joe? Weird. Anyway, so before you look at this clip of a Republican Michigan senator, just remember, guys, it's not a cult.
A lot of people in America have come to think of President Trump as a sort of father figure, and this morning we even saw the leadership of NATO refer to him as daddy. So maybe in these resolutions going forward we could have a little bit of recognition of like Daddy Trump is who we're going to oppose or something like that. Get creative with it, but in the meantime, please vote no on these resolutions.
Again, totally not a cult. But the best part was when openly gay Democratic Senator Jeremy Moss responded to him.
You don't want to know what daddy means in my community.
But the thing is, I don't think Republicans have a problem with that. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene was openly grabbing the crotch of a cardboard cutout of Trump, remember that? The Republicans, when they went to the RNC, broke the Grindr app. I think many of these sycophantic Republicans would have no problem with Daddy Trump bending them over backwards. Which is gross because he's a horrible human being and he looks like Jabba the Hutt with a sunburn. And in just that one statement, ironically, I believe Jeremy Moss was able to point out that despite how much the Republican Party seems to despise the LGBTQ, they appear to have a whole bunch of deep-seated geriatric homoeroticism for their orange diaper genie.
Like I told you, this whole thing had a twist. You have those that are divided on this that are saying, you know, you shouldn't be excited about the fact that he got tased and he was arrested. He's a vet in the first place. He must be going through a lot and, you know, PTSD or something like that. And then you have others that are saying, you know, like you've seen in the videos. And I don't know what you guys think. Personally, I feel like I wish the same measures that are applied on certain people is the same equal measure that is applied on others. You see how when it comes to the older millennial, it was just to be tased because he was resisting arrest, right? And you see what happened to George Floyd. The purpose was to make sure, choke him until he passes out, right? Meanwhile, he didn't have any weapon on him or anything, right? So for me, it is the double standards. But I also feel like it's not that people are excited that this happened to him, but it's the fact that these are the same things that people have been speaking about, and they're like, you know, you shouldn't have to use that aggressive force on someone, like even if they're resisting. You don't have a guarantee to take their life, right? Use necessary means. Don't literally resort to that unnecessary force, okay? And for people like the older millennial, it could not make sense, the things that people have been saying. For example, the amount of force ICE uses on people. And we are not talking about just illegals, we're talking about real Americans that have American citizenship, that have documents, and they are in the country legally, right? The amount of force that is used on them, it's not fair. Those are the things that people have been speaking about. But for the right-winger older millennium, it never made sense. And I think it never makes sense until it happens to you. I also feel like people are saying what they are saying because of hypocrisy. You have DUIs. You have been dodging, you know, police and arrest warrants. And then you think you have the audacity enough to speak about other criminals. And like we're saying, not everybody that is in the US is illegal. There are those that are waiting for the due process. They came legally, and probably even their visas are still valid, but they are processing something that is going to make them legal. The amount of force that is used on them, that's what people are condemning. And meanwhile, the older millennial is out there to convict others. So that's how I feel. And to see him falling under the same things that he's been speaking against, calling other people criminals when he himself has his own records and stuff going on about him, that's where people really have find a problem. And personally, I feel like a lot of right-wingers, they are in support of everything that happens to others. They jubilate. A lot of them have been coming out on the internet using sounds and how they're excited this is happening, you know, and all of that. But a lot of them have their own issues and stuff going on. But they feel like they have the right to mock others until when the same thing, or until when they fall under the same traps. So it's the hypocrisy. That's why there are scriptures that say before you point at someone's eye, I don't know, this is not verbatim, right? But before you say someone has something in their eye, make sure yours is okay, right? Because it will be hypocritical of you spotting other people's mistakes, but then you can't even, you yourself, you can't follow the law. If you're telling people should follow the law, then you shouldn't resist, arrest. Earlier, I think this year, they were planning to give immunity to the police and the officers on duty, that even if they used any amount of force, unnecessary force in cases of arrest, that they would not be held accountable, or just in case they do something, that nobody would hold them accountable for what they did. And I see in one of the sections, one of the gentlemen put in here is the amount of force that was used on him. Personally, I'm gonna have to say that, first of all, it's not right to give the police immunity. They should be held accountable. The same measure that is used on others should be the same measure that is used on everybody. That's called justice. That's called fairness. If fairness and justice is supposed to be served to only a particular group of people, but then others are not supposed to be handled and held accountable, then the system is really not balancing, And again, I have to go back and say that there's just double standards. When it comes to George Floyd, he was called a criminal. Whoever was doing whatever they did, they made sure that they are supposed to take his life. And when it comes to these people, they're supposed to be handled with care. I think that tells me that America is like a family, but then there are those that are children, and then there are those that are bastards. And we know who the bastards are because of the way they get treated, all right? And some of the things that really shock me is how the law enforcers especially have double standards in a way that when it comes to others, they test. When it comes to others, even if it's to pew, it's to make sure they take the life. And my question is that how these people are trained to take life, use unnecessary combative force? And why don't you aim at places that is not going to end up taking someone's life? So again, these are some of the things that people keep talking about, but right-wingers will never listen until when it happens to them. And so I don't think people are excited, but people are like, you know what? You need to feel what it feels like to go through the same things we've been speaking about, calling evil and bad. And you were saying, you know what? You all are criminals. You're not supposed to be resisting arrest. And then you go ahead and you don't follow the law like you've been telling others. Nobody's perfect. People go through stuff, and I feel like everybody in America is going through stuff, but that should not guarantee you to be treated horribly or as if you are a criminal before being tried and, the final judgment comes out and you're convicted and you're guilty, right? Because that's what the law says. You are not guilty until, it has been confirmed, until you've gone through all the due processes and you're found guilty. But the way some of these law enforcers do deal with people, and not just right-wingers or left-wingers, all the people, right? But anyway, let me know what you all think in the comment section. I think from me for today, that's it. I love all of you, and I'll see you in another amazing video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. And until then, my name is Gracie.